Okay, so welcome back everyone. We've restarted the stream. Every 4 hours we've got to rewind the Googly machine and get it wound back up again. Otherwise it decides to turn itself off. So we've done all that. So everybody, I can see there's a few people coming back. The numbers are starting to pop up on the screen here. So we'll give everyone a couple of seconds, but we've got the dinner video coming up now. Brad and I are going to duck off and try and get some tucker, as they say down here in Australia, and we'll be back in a little while with the panel show. So if you're there, Brad, I reckon you can fire up the old Super 8 projector and run the film.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Broxburn Sidings. It's the terminal for a branch line in Queensland. The layout is running HON 42. In other words, it's a 3'6" gauge. And the layout runs on DC. It's been to a number of exhibitions and conventions around the state and is very popular. At one end there is a strange looking gadget. It's actually a storage turntable with 3 tracks. The train runs from the turntable onto the layout and shunts the cars to their required spots. You may notice a different type of coupler on the end of the cars and the locos. This is called the Jackson coupler, and it comes from the UK. Very handy on this type of layout. A smaller electronic magnet beneath the track is used to uncouple the cars. Operation of the turnout is at the back of the layout on plungers. You will see posts with yellow markers on top. This just marks where the little magnets are located. They're about the size of a cigarette. So nice small diameter hole, which is a little ballast over the top and you won't know it's there. We also have steam on the layout. Everything seems to run very smoothly and very reliably. It does the switching. I didn't inquire as to what they were using to get the switching in the right areas, but as you can see, they're having fun. The storage turntable is at the back of the building where the loco is going in, and to get to the turntable he goes down the side of the building, out of sight. Most of the state of Queensland runs on 3'6" gauge track, mainline, sidings, branch lines. heavy-duty ore trains, even high-speed tilt trains, which are very smooth once you're in them, all on 3'6". The loco is stopped alongside the white post with the yellow marker, which indicates the uncoupler magnet. And off it goes to get the next car. The diesel is finished switching for the day. I will connect up to the other end of the train, back out onto the main line and take it off into staging. Gerry.
Which track are you going on, Gerry?
Go through.
Back on Corrego night, taking photo in the dark just about. And he set it on about a 15-second exposure, and he had a torch, and he just paints the object. So he wanted light, and it wouldn't be dark except the object. Waving the lantern now, trying to pull it up. Right to go again. Signalling the engineer that the air's through to the caboose. We're right to go. Turn the lamp off.
Okay, so we're back at NMRAx, the virtual convention for NMRA Australian region. We've got the panel here from the ARC, which is the Australian Regional Committee. So it's the governing body here in Australia for the NMRA. And we're going to have a little bit of a Q&A session. So we'll see what questions pop up in the chat. But I believe to get the ball rolling, there are some pre-done questions that you've got there, Brad.
Well, Martin, because I like how you never read the script, we're actually going to quickly go around the room so everyone knows who's on this panel.
Oh,
So,
I forgot that. Yes.
I will start it out, and I'll say your name, and if you just want to give us a quick rundown of what you do for the ARC, and a little bit of a quick bio, give it maybe a minute or so. So I think we'll start out with Merv. You're on the top of my list. Can you tell us about yourself?
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, like I'm Merv Bagnall. I'm the present editor of the Mainline magazine. Been in the role for about a year and a half now, thoroughly enjoying it. And yeah, I'm part of the Division 1 in Queensland. And been a modeller all my life, model New South Wales, 1972 approximately. Live in Hervey Bay in Queensland, and it's pretty nippy up here today, but
Okay.
That's about me.
Perfect, no problems. How about we roll over to Rob? Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, Rob Pearson, Pacific District Director. So I actually sit on the national board of the NMRA, working out of the US mainly. So at the moment, there's lots of really nice once a month 5 a.m. starts. I've got 2 this weekend with the national board up as well with this convention. So fun weekend. But I am sort of essentially in a liaison between the local regional committee and the national. So yeah, that's what I do. I'm N-scale modeler, model. I'm split personality. I modeled Rio Grande in the 90s or the late 80s, just before they merged. And I also model, which my main interest is Iriakalara and BNO in the late 60s. So yeah.
Cool, interesting. Okay, thank you. Peter, how about yourself? Do you want to tell us about yourself?
All right, well, I live in Barrel. I'm one of the committeemen on the ARC, one of the 3 elected committee. I'm also the exhibition coordinator for, well, essentially New South Wales. New South Wales is having the next convention, so that's my job. Unfortunately, COVID stopped that a couple of times. I've been probably in the NMRA for nearly 25 years. I model HO Australian, steam and rail motors, not diesels, just steam and rail motors from 1855 to 1960. And I've been involved in organising an exhibition here in Barrel for 20 years. That's now stopped, but it was great fun doing that. So model railways have been an important part of my life for quite a while.
Okay, thank you. Geoff, how about yourself?
I'm Geoff Chatwin. I live here in a very cold and damp Adelaide Hills at the time. I'm the National Treasurer for the NMRA Australasian region, and I model these days 2mm fine scale British, which is 1 in 152 scale. So and I've served a couple of terms as the Div Super and a few other odds and ends with the NMRA.
Okay, nice. Duncan, how about yourself?
Duncan Cavassi, Division 1 Superintendent. Been in the role for 3 and a bit years now. Been in the hobby 55 years plus. And been in the NMRA this second time round. So this time round, 7 years. Back in the 90s, I was in the NMRA as well.
Okay, nice. So what does that make you, about 1 when you started into the hobby at 55 plus?
About 6, mate.
Oh, okay, sorry, close.
Good looking for 60 years old, aren't I?
Surprising. Okay, David, do you want to give us a quick rundown of yourself?
Yeah, thanks, Brad. I'm David North. I'm currently Vice President of the region. I joined the NMRA in 1990 and have been a member ever since. I'm a member of Div 7 and I live on the Northern Beaches Peninsula in Sydney. I previously served as Pacific District Director from 1998 to 2006, currently Rob's role. My dad introduced me to model trains when I was a preteen, and I've been, as so many of us have, I've been totally besotted by them ever since. I currently model a Santa Fe in HO in 1985 between Wellington, Kansas and Amarillo in Texas, what was called the Plains Division. That's me.
Okay, nice. And Chris?
Yes, good evening all, and thanks Brad, and thanks to Martin for setting this all up. Chris Moynihan, I live in Hallidays Point, which is about halfway between Taree and Foster on the coast down here. Currently, but not for much longer, the Division 9 Superintendent. I model HO. On my layout, it's Denver and Rio Grande transition till the fall of the flag type time. I've been on the ARC for quite a while, and I think I'm to my use by date. I've been involved with modelling and railways since basically it's sort of one of those things that just come out of the smoke as I became conscious of being alive. My grandfather used to drive trams in Sydney, and I think that I inherited the desire to know about anything that ran on rails. So it was always been that kind of thing. I'm interested in signalling and electronics on the model railway, and I am a member of the group that defined and decided the LCC standards. Anything electronic, I guess, I'm interested in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, just before we get into the hard-hitting questions, just want to remind everyone out there in the chat on these streams that get your questions into the chat. We're always going to be monitoring that, and if your question isn't asked, we will be passing this on to the ARC at a later date after the convention. So they will get these questions regardless if they're answered right here and now. So all information will be handed over and hopefully looked into. So let's get the ball rolling with a couple of predetermined questions that we had going. And the first one is, how can members that are out there in the region get more involved at an ARC or a division level? Does anyone want to elaborate on that, or what the best way to sort of put their hand up and get more involved as a member in the organisation? Duncan.
First of all, let your current division superintendent know that you're interested in getting more involved. I think that's a great way for people to build contingency into the organisation at the grassroots level, and also a great way to support your Div Super, because there's a lot falls on the Div Super's shoulders to do.
Okay. Anyone else want to add anything else to that?
I think
Yep, Peter.
I think it's important that they know that all our names are on the internet, on the site, so that we can be contacted there, and maybe we need also to look out for people who are in model trains who don't know anything about the NMRA. So it falls both ways. You can contact us, and we should be looking out for other people too in our local area.
Okay, yeah, good point. Anyone else got anything to add, or are we right to keep firing through the questions? Okay, next question it is. Is there anything that the divisions can do to help promote the Mainline magazine, our digital Mainline magazine down here? And for this, I'm going to go straight to the man himself, Merv.
Oh yeah, thanks, Brad. Look, I think there's plenty the divisions can do. I think. I think our members. Sorry, I just knocked everything over here. Members do not know what the mainline are, and I I had an example of that pretty recently, where I got an email from a chap who was he'd been a long-term member and been in the NMRA since 2007, and he asked me how would he find any back issues or any information on a back issue of Mainline, and I thought that was quite disturbing. He said someone that's been in the association for such a long time, they didn't know that he could find it on the website. So I think education's in that area is quite important. I also think that for what divisions can do is at their division meetings, advise the members. Okay, that every 2 months there's a new mainline comes out. Advise members that the mainline is out. Bit of a rundown on a couple of articles that may be in there or points of interest that's in there. And I think also another pretty important thing is maybe have a printed copy of the latest issue, and just have it lying around there so people can just flick through so they can see what's in there. So a lot of people don't know the information that's in there. I think that's some of the things that I think the divisions can do anyhow.
Yeah, okay. Anyone else want to chime in on that? I know it's a kind of tailored one. David?
Yeah, I think we all have unique skills and ways of doing things in hobby, and we don't necessarily share them because maybe we feel a little embarrassed about it, or don't think it's good enough, or don't think it's important enough to share. An article, and Merv will support this, an article doesn't have to be a big article. It can be half a dozen lines. It could be a quarter of a page. It might just be something where you want to jot down or take a photo of how you do something and shoot them through to Merv by email. There's no issue with that. He'll certainly put it in the magazine and print it, and we can all share in how you do a particular task on your modelling or on your layout or whatever it might be. We all benefit from that.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, no one else I don't think. So we'll go on to the next lot of questions, and this one's a little tailored as well. So by all reports, the NMRA Division 1 is growing its members faster than the majority of other divisions. What reasons can you put this down to? So that's definitely a Duncan question.
Sure is. First thing I'm going to say is a lot of hard work and developing a division strategy and plan right at the get-go when I become division superintendent. For me, the divisions of the NMRA and the division superintendents play a critical role in either making the NMRA work and growing it, or not making it work, and therefore you won't grow. So the things that I set about doing when I took over as Division 1 superintendent was to build the trust of the membership, because there were some long-standing members in there, and no doubt they were set in their ways, and I was bringing in change, and some of them didn't like the change, but I think 99% of them now will agree that the change has been great. Regular communications with the division, keep them updated and let them know what's going on. There was a significant gap in the email chain where not all the members were getting emails at that time. That's been fixed now. I think there's only about 2 or 3 that continue to bounce, and we can't contact those people. Empowering the members to bring other modelers to the gatherings and ensure other modelers are made aware of the value add of the NMRA. Significantly important. If one NMRA member brings a new member to the NMRA, we grow ourselves immediately, or we double our numbers. So all of the members in Division 1 have been empowered to go out and talk to their friends who are modelers and encourage them to have a look at the NMRA. to sell the values of the NMRA, and they're by all means they are welcome to come along to a couple of meetings. No issues. If it's not for them, then that's not a problem. Most people come along and they join. Since 2019, since January 2019, we've had an active promotions program. We did our first promotion at a shopping centre here in Brisbane, and we have hit nearly every train exhibition. Obviously, COVID was an exceptional year, but outside of that, we've hit nearly every train exhibition with a NMRA promotions table. There are some lessons learnt in that, to the point where our promotions table now is pretty professional. We have a data projector. We have a screen behind us. We're playing stuff on there that attracts the people in, and then we start engaging with them in conversation and telling them what the NMRA is all about. We hand out flyers at nauseam. And then I want to get on to the meetings. We made the meetings fun. We also make them a value add to the member. We have clinics, we have techniques training, we have show and tell. And by that, I think each member goes away feeling that they've got something out of those meetings. We're in the process of engagement with the 100% clubs. That's has been a difficult situation, but I think that's starting to turn around. I'm certainly starting to see now that quite a few 100% club members are turning up to meetings. Excuse me. And I think that's a derivative that we're out there walking the ground at the exhibitions with our promotions table, and people are seeing how active we are. We make new members feel very welcome. We add value by holding additional events outside of monthly gatherings, such as clinics, weekends, and trips to visit layouts. We take meetings outside the Greater Brisbane area to show the love to those that are a bit further afield and can't make our meetings. We've been to Bundaberg twice. We're going to Toowoomba this year. Next year we'll do a Warwick trip, so we're trying to spread ourselves out. One of the other important things I think that we've done is we have started a partners program. Now, this is not the partners program that the NMRA talk about. This is actually about partners being engaged in our activities. And a minimum of 3 times a year, we have a gathering where the family and partners of members come along, and we have a feed and just generally have a good time. Just excuse me for a second, gents. You'll have to excuse me. I've got the flu this week. So there are the things that I think have made a significant difference. To give you some statistics, from the year 2000 to 2017, we enrolled 179 members. From 2018 to present, which is 3.5 years, we've enrolled 168 members. So I think the effort is showing the rewards. I think the increase in membership is showing the rewards of the effort. Somewhere in there's a blueprint for success. Somewhere in there's a blueprint for success, and I think we need to look at what's going on. And there are other people who got great ideas as well. So I think we can harness all of that. We can definitely build the NMRA numbers significantly.
Okay, thanks for that response. Does anyone else, I know that's a very tailored question, but has anyone else got anything to add to it? Okay, I see we've got our first question in from the chat, and it's from Rowan on YouTube, and he's asked, has all of the ARC done articles for the Mainline magazine? So let's see, anyone want to put their hand up for some articles that they've done or anything like that? David, how many articles have you put through?
I have one ready.
So is that one ready and one to be published, or is that just one ready?
No, one is going to be published.
Okay.
Provided Merv publishes it, of course. Provided it's okay.
Okay. Has anyone else put one through, Rob?
Yeah, many years ago, but I've done about 8 or 9.
Yeah, okay.
But I don't know whether president's column actually counts, because I've actually did a stint as president for a while, so I've done a number of president's columns.
I'll let that one slide as you've put an article forward, so yeah, that'll be fine.
Right.
Anyone else's, Chris?
Yeah, I did a couple of articles for LCC, what LCC was all about and how it could be used some years ago, and also an article on staff machines for use on model railways. So that was not that long ago, maybe about 2 years or so ago.
Okay. Anyone else? Duncan?
Yeah, mate, I've done, I think, 3 articles. One was a track cleaning tool. One was, one was a track cleaning tool. One was a weighting and basically reliability engineering and in-scale locomotive. And the other one was a layout article.
Okay, cool. Anyone else got anything to add there? Peter?
I wrote an article on the Illawarra line, where the line goes from Mossvale down to Wollongong, and I've also had put an article into the Australian Model Railway magazine about how to organise an exhibition. So I spread it a little bit further outside of the NMRA.
Okay, cool. Anyone else want to chime in? Because I'm going to chime in. I'm not part of the ARC, but I wrote an article not long ago on remote operations and put it through to Merv, and sure enough, it was published. So I reckon everyone should give an article to Mainline, because you never know when someone's out there that might just find it of interest.
Well, there you go, Brad. You beat me. I've never to get one in Mainline as yet, I don't think.
Have you even submitted one? That's probably your problem.
Well, I've got to put 2 words together, and I couldn't even get the intros right. So
Okay.
You'll have to try, Martin.
Rob?
I was just going to say, Brad, the other really good thing about doing articles for the mainline is you get points for author for the achievement program.
Exactly.
Which, that's a really good part of it. So doing articles for mainline, doing presentations at clinics whether live or as we're doing at this convention, all earn you points to getting your author certificate towards the AP program.
That's right.
Correct.
Yeah, I've put 3 in now, and that's one of the reasons it's working towards the author as well. So
yeah, okay.
Author AP.
Nice. Okay, so we'll jump back over to some of these predetermined questions, and this was really interesting. So this is open to pretty much anyone, but I'm going to hit this one out to Peter first. Is why would anyone want to come to an NMRA on-site or a virtual convention? Can anyone attend these conventions? Peter?
The answer is yes, anyone can attend them. I guess camaraderie is a major thing that we get at a convention. When we can all get together and meet and talk and meet new people. We meet the people in our division all the time, but there are people in 10 other divisions in Australia that we don't meet. So it's our opportunity to get together with those people and meet them, and the New Zealanders. And if you're really lucky, we might even get over to America and meet some people over there as well. So conventions are all about learning, really, aren't they? It's a close-up involvement. You can get your hands on and actually do something if you wanted to. There's lots of discussions you can actually discuss with the clinicians after they're finished with how to do things. And it's a mix of all scales in the NMRA. There are other conventions where they're just end scale or narrow gauge and stuff, but the NMRA actually encompasses a whole lot. And our big Australia-wide conventions are for end gauge for everybody, essentially. So it's a good opportunity to get together and meet and learn and learn and learn and have a good time. Okay. And eat as well.
All the fun things. Chris?
Look, I think the thing with conventions, particularly longish conventions, you've only got to look at the program that you guys have put up to see how this great hobby cuts across all kinds of interests that people have in the hobby. And you, as Peter says, the potential for learning about things that you are specifically interested in. Not everybody is interested in everything in the hobby, but it brings together at a point in time a whole lot of people that know something about the aspect that you're interested in, and I think it's fundamental to attend, particularly NMRA conventions. I think they're far better than just simply an exhibition, maybe like Liverpool or whatever. So to come together for seeing and talking to people about the common interest that you have.
Yeah, okay. Anyone else want to chime in on that? Duncan?
My answer to that is, why wouldn't you want to get involved? Not why would you? It's a focused weekend of learning and fellowship, and one of the best things you can do as a modeler. And example, the recently held clinics weekend up here, there wasn't a disappointed person who went away from that weekend. The feedback I got was they were still buzzing the next week and can't wait for the next clinics weekend. So, yeah, value add.
Okay. Anyone else? No? I will chime in, because doing this for the last 18 months, what you learn and what you get out of this is outstanding. I reckon, I know this is a virtual platform, but I've learnt way more than what I probably would have in a lifetime of my modelling here in rural Australia. So definitely what you put in is what you get out of this stuff, and the organisation really helps. So, Peter, actually.
Actually, there's one thing I was going to mention, was that the ladies program or the partners program is very important at the convention. So our partners see us go out and do what we do normally, but at a convention, it's the ladies also, or the partners are provided for as well. So that's that extra dimension of a convention that you don't get normally.
Okay. Martin, is there any other questions out there in the chat that you can see, or whatnot?
I can see there's a few comments that have floating about with people saying hello to each other. The numbers are starting to increase, but there's a comment here from, or a question from Chris Hitchens, who I spent some time with when we were in Portland for the Portland convention. Chris had rented a car, and we went out and did the LD SIG tour together, and went to Joe Fugate's place and a few others, Charlie Comstoke's layout, and we had a great time there. The funniest thing was we turned a corner and found the Evergreen Aviation Museum with the spruce goose lives, and all of a sudden we ended up in there. So it was like another rabbit hole we went down. But Chris is asking, promoting NMRA and Mainline, he's saying, have we got any brochures that are available that we could put in local hobby shops on counter displays before, as he says at the end, before they all go away? So I guess he's talking about promotional material for the NMRA that we can that can be facilitated around the retail environments.
Yeah, we have a brochure that we're quite happy to share out through members to give to hobby shops to put on the counter. It's got contact details on the back of it. It's a glossy brochure. It's well presented. So yes, the answer is definitely yes.
Okay. Peter?
Yeah, I think we need to do more of that. I did this week take some stuff down to our local model railway shop here in Barrel, just so they knew what was happening and they could show people what was going to be happening on the weekend. So it's something we really need to look at doing. Of course, the problem is at all costs. Obviously, with a convention, we actually do lots and thousands of flyers, but just generally promoting the NMRA, we probably need to do more of that. I agree. Yep.
Okay, and we've got another comment here. It's come from I think a rock in the middle of the Atlantic, but he's asking if it's true that you need to bring multiple empty cases to a convention, or was that just me? Well, yes, as people that have met me over in the States, when we've gone to an American convention, I'm usually at Walmart buying cases to put the stuff that I bought in to get back home again. But anyway.
You're talking about an empty case to go and one that comes back full, I gather.
Yeah, well, I've got this thing where I pack a case in my suitcase and take with me, but it doesn't work, because even though I do that, I still end up at Walmart buying another Coleman duffel bag. I think I got about 30 of them in the back garage anyway.
Well,
Rob?
Yeah, you're promised the silent auction.
Yeah. I didn't do good at the silent auction. I did too good. Sorry, David.
And the train show at the National Convention.
Yes.
Which we're doing a really neat idea here going forward of liaising with the Epping Club to run our next real convention, our next face-to-face convention, in conjunction with the Epping Club's exhibition at Rose Hill. Unfortunately, COVID-19 delayed it, but we think that's going to be a really great weekend of both conventioning and seeing an exhibition with model trains and dealers there. So please keep your eyes on our website for that coming up in probably 2022, I guess, Peter.
Yep, yeah, 2022. Yep. It should be really good. We're over the road at the moment. The planning is for us to be over the road, but Epping and us have both been COVID affected, so things have been on hold. So hopefully it'll get off the ground next year with a bit of luck.
No, definitely looking forward to that one. I was looking forward to it last year. We'd all booked Airbnb accommodation and the likes just around the corner, but unfortunately, like you said, for safer reasons, it all had to be put on hold. But it'll happen. It'll happen eventually, and I reckon it's great if you can get the convention with a local train show or a large train show like the Epping one is. I think, when was the last time I went? I think went to Newcastle, I think, for one convention, and they had the Our Town Model Railway show was just over the road, the Newcastle show, and yeah, that was a really good weekend because you had both a bit of both. You had the convention, the meeting of people, the sitting down with clinics, and then you had a train show to go and look at the next day. So,
okay, cool. Back onto some hard-hitting questions. I see there's still a few lurking around in our predetermined ones. So, what additional benefits are the ARC exploring for members? Anyone? No? Maybe? Next question, peoples? We'll come back to that one. David?
I guess I don't know that we've got anything particularly solid or we're putting down at the moment there, Brad, but we'd be really happy to hear from members about what they'd like us to add, how they'd like us to add value to their membership. Now, clearly some things are going to be not financially achievable, but others might be. And so we'd love to hear from the membership as to what or even non-members, what they'd like to see the NMRA provide if you are a current member or if you were thinking of joining. We'd really appreciate that feedback.
Okay, anyone else want to add anything there? Peter?
I was just going to say that we had 3 committee men on the ARC, and any one of the 3 of us is willing to liaise with anyone who wants to get ideas about how we can do it. So just look up our names on the website and contact us, and we'll look into whatever you desire us to do. We are there to be helpful. So yeah.
Okay.
And the other thing probably is that we need to realise that we are the Australasian region, so we do have a lot of Australian modelers. We're not all American, and we have to get that over to people that the NMRA is not necessarily American, that it actually covers the British and a whole lot of other people. Consequently, at our convention coming up, hopefully, we will have some British clinics, and there'll be American clinics as well as lots of Australian clinics. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll kind of lead on with another question. We can see if we can keep going along that sort of same thing. With recent advances in technology, will the ARC be implementing anything for the divisions to help contact members in regional Australia or in regional AR for that, even in New Zealand? Anyone want to chime in on that? Duncan?
Brad, we've trialled it. We've trialled virtual meetings where we've beamed people in from outside to our Division 1 meetings. We've done that a couple of times. The success hasn't been great, and there's a lot of effort that goes in to make it happen. And with the numbers that we get, I wonder whether it's actually worth it at this moment in time. I'd be willing to get feedback from the members, but the reality is it has been trialled in a division, And at this stage, it hasn't been a raging success.
Okay. Chris?
When COVID first struck in Division 9 here, we had a group of people that met, I think was 3 times a week by Zoom. And we were actually in a meeting, but we also were running SimSig simulations, which got people involved to come along and talk at the Zoom meeting, but also they were doing something related to trains, which was the simulation. I'm like Duncan, I'm a little bit apprehensive about just a chat fest in this kind of format. I mean, it's pretty good to cover the distance, but equally each division is different. And in Queensland, they're quite huge distance between modelers. Here in Division 9, theoretically the border goes from the coast to the South Australian border, but there's no members in that kind of area. So we're much more tight-knit group. So each division is going to have to play that by ear to sort of see whether or not there's things that they can offer.
Okay. Anyone else got anything
Yeah,
to add?
I'll just take it up again, Chris. Sorry, Brad.
That's right.
Is the my comments weren't saying we won't do it again. My comments were more around the fact so far it hasn't been a great success. So I guess we need to try it again with maybe better cameras and some better communications and see what happens. So willing to try anything, and maybe just a alternate to our monthly meetings is just host a one night a month. NMRA members can zoom into a meeting with the Div Super and have a chat.
Okay. Peter?
I'm actually 2 hours away from the top of our division, so it's a fair hike to go to a meeting up in Newcastle, but it's worth doing it because you want to get together with people. It'd be quite easy to have a Zoom meeting with your group, but it's the getting together that's important, I think. And next weekend, I'm actually going down to the Eurobadella Club and the Division 2 weekend, and they've got a whole really great weekend happening there, and that's probably another 2 hour drive for me from here. But it's getting together with people and meeting people and doing things together and learning off the hobby together. It's really important, and that's what divisions are really good at doing. So it's really important that we try and get to meetings as much as we can.
Okay. Anyone else? We'll go on to the next question. So this is one of the last predetermined questions. How has COVID changed how the ARC will operate in the future? Has the ARC needed to implement anything due to COVID? I know we're pretty lucky down here, but does anyone want to explain that? David?
No, really, COVID-19 hasn't really affected how the ARC operates, because sometime prior to COVID-19 arriving, we were already having virtual meetings of the ARC. Admittedly, initially they were by telephone, which was less efficient, but we moved to Zoom. And one of the benefits of that is that regardless of where you live in Australia, you can participate in the committee of the NMRA. That's been a big change. A lot of members felt traditionally that the NMRA was Sydney-centric. They were probably right, because the committee sat here in Sydney. But with the introduction of technology, we're now able to have our Div Super in Western Australia and Adelaide and Queensland and Victoria and New Zealand and Tasmania attend in real time, and we can see each other and have a bit of a chat and take care of the business. And the part about a bit of a chat is us getting to know each other and working collectively and working together, whereas previously the Div Supers were isolated from the ARC, and that fortunately has changed. So COVID-19 hasn't had a big effect on that, Brad, but it's shown how important technology is to be able to deal with interaction with the tyranny of distance, and also as it's turned out, these types of pandemic type situations. So that's pretty much where we are now.
Okay. Anyone else? Peter?
The ARC's been really good in the last few years, actually, because we've had a couple of females involved. And it's been really good to have a diversity of opinion from these particular ones, South Australian divisions superintendent. Now we've got one from the North Coast, and it's really good to have that female involvement as well in the ARC. And I really appreciate that part of it at the moment.
Okay. Anyone else got anything to add there? No. So, Martin,
So Michael Robinson, I notice, is in the chat there. So I'd say Jane is probably online, not far away as well.
Yep. When you look at the ARC, we've got South Australia on committee. We've got South Australia, Queensland, New South Wales, and as well as all the Div Supers from all around Australia. So there's a fair range of areas there involved.
Cool. Well, I've got another couple of items here. Oh,
Martin,
couple of items here on YouTube that have come in, and one again was from Chris, and he was agreeing about Portland was good. He was saying maybe at the conventions, when we have them face to face, at the American conventions, they usually have a stand there of with information for all the hobby shops that are in the local area, and someone who's liaising and can tell people how to get there or the likes, and maybe an idea for our convention coming up in next year in Sydney.
Yeah, we normally do have hobby shops and things represented at the conventions, and some layouts as well. But with the idea of meeting with the exhibition over the road, we pulled back on that a little bit.
Yeah.
But there are lots of local, businesses that we do involve, and we also, with the convention, try and get out into the community as well. So we're hoping next year to have visits to the new light rail and other things, as well as just the inside the convention itself. So trips out and stuff.
No, excellent. Well, Michael Robinson has jumped in and he's made a comment here, and he'd like to know the dates of next year's convention.
Okay. Well, at the moment, it's the long weekend next year. Epping, we're going to normally have it then, but now they've decided to have a smaller 2-day one in October. So we're sort of waiting a little bit to make sure that they're having theirs next year in the long weekend. So at the moment, we booked for the long weekend.
Yes.
But that may change if Epping change, because it's such a good idea. We really would like to stay together with them and make it a really good one.
That's we're looking forward to attending both of them, the show and the convention. They're yes, good idea.
Yes, that's the June long weekend next year. Yep.
There's a message here from Arthur Hayes. Does the ARC have a strategy plan for the next few years? So who'd like to start off with that one? Duncan.
We have formed a strategy committee, and we are working on a strategy that will be released. It'll be released when it's released. But the answer to that is yes, there is planning going on.
Anyone else like to? Okay, and what else was the
hang on, Chris?
Look, the issue with strategy is that strategy needs to be promoted all the time. It's not sort of something which we look at and then put on a shelf, and then we have some dusty tome that we then pull out and say this is the strategy plan. Bear in mind that we are a member, or we're part of National, and there is a strategy that we are kind of compelled to do our own thing, but we're also compelled to sit within the strategy as defined by National. So it's a fine line, and it's what Duncan was alluding to. Yes, we are doing it, but it's a little bit. It's not as easy as what it might think about.
Rob?
Yeah, I'll just follow on what Chris said from a national perspective, that National's also going through a refresh of its 5-year strategy at the moment as well. They've been engaging with the regional presidents, and that strategy is being worked up at the moment. So that is sort of, knowing that was happening in Community Wins, that's what slowed down our development of our strategy, to make sure that we were, following what the national was going to do, and then tailor that to what we want to do in Australia.
For those people that don't know, what we're talking about with national is actually the American sort of side, American arm of the, which is what Rob goes over to 2 or 3 times a year. So national's not actually just Australia; it's actually America and the rest of the world, essentially.
Yes.
Well, it's who we report up to at the end of the day.
American parent body.
That's it.
Okay, Martin, anything else?
In YouTube here, it looks like Jane Robinson's dropped on, and she says, I miss chatting with all you guys, and thanks to Peter. So there's a message from Jane. Yes, David?
Let me assure you, Jane, that that's reciprocal. We all miss you too.
Yes, we all do. So you'll have to jump in the meeting room and have a chat with them, Jane.
Okay, Martin, if you don't have another question, I'm going to throw a quick question that's going to blanket the closing out of this, I dare say, is does anyone have anything else they'd like to add? Or how can members get in touch to voice their concerns with the region?
Well, as I said, our numbers are on the website, so we're feel free to contact us. We are there to be contacted, and as I said, the 3 committee members in particular are probably, that's part of our job in a little bit, to get into the clubs and find out, meet people and find out how we can help them, because a lot of the clubs are 100% clubs, but they're essentially there for the insurance side of it. So we've really got to get in there and show the extra benefits that the NMRA have got, so we can get them as actual individual members as well as 100% clubs.
Okay, Chris?
Look, the short answer is the whole organisation, including National and Australia, is an organisation from the ground up through the divisions. The divisions are what drive the NMRA. If you've got some concerns, talk to your Div Super, and if you don't like the Div Super, go to the Div Super in the next division. But that you can rest assured, you can absolutely rest assured that any concerns that people raise with the Div Supers will actually find their way through to the ARC.
Okay, David?
You can speak to us directly if we're at meetings together once that starts again. We've all got our phone numbers on there. We've all got email addresses. If you want to go back and be a bit old school, you can send a letter. We will respond however you communicate with us. It'll be discussed at the ARC. We have correspondence in and out, and that includes all forms of communication. And we would love to hear from members about how they're enjoying the NMRA, what we can do to improve it, what we're doing well, what suggestions they have. That would be great. Look forward to it, everybody.
Okay, yeah, definitely reach out to these guys. I know I've reached out to Duncan, which is actually outside my division, and he's been extremely helpful and welcoming. So yeah, reach out to him and don't be scared.
Yep.
Anyone else got anything they want to add just in general about this? Anything they want to mention?
Yeah, I think whilst we are on the hierarchy of the NMRA AR, we are modelers as well. Okay, so don't forget that. We have the same wants, desires, needs that every other modeler does. So we share the same goals, the same opinions mostly. It's just there are things we can achieve and there are things we can't achieve. But raise your concerns or your loves, and whatever it is, let your Div Supers know, or let the people in the ARC know. The phone numbers are all there on the websites. Communication is bliss, everybody.
Okay. David, I saw you had your hand up before.
Duncan's absolutely correct. None of us joined the NMRA to be on the committee. We all joined the NMRA as modelers to share that common passion. And as a result of that, there's been an opportunity to volunteer to be committee members and work for the organisation. But yeah, at heart, we're all modelers. You're quite right, Duncan. Good comment.
Okay. Peter, I saw you had your hand up.
Yeah, I was just going to say that I've forgotten what I was going to say, actually. We'll go to Chris and come back to me.
Okay, Chris.
Look, the thing which I think to me is the most important part of the NMRA is the achievement program, and we don't.
That's what I was going to say.
We don't. Well, we push it, but it needs to be in the forefront of everybody, because what you learn, it pushes you outside your square of confidence, and it is such a good thing, and it's one of the things that makes the NMRA better than any other organisation that I've ever been involved with, is that it pushes you out of that comfort zone, and it's not that traumatic. I mean, a lot of people talk about the onerous paperwork system, but it actually is not that bad. When you actually get involved in it and do it, it's actually quite simple. And talk to your AP chairs or your div supers, and it's not that hard to do, and it really will get you out of your comfort zone.
Okay, just on that, I see, and this could be a bit of a smart question or not, but there's a question in the chat. Is it true that the ARC is looking into an AP for Lego modelers? I think someone might be taking the mickey out of all us here, but there's a question in there.
Of course we are.
And
Rob?
I noticed...
We've got to get them young.
I noticed Rowan's put a comment in there as well that the national should be international.
Yeah.
Rob?
I think Gordy should refer that question to himself in a month's time.
I thought he was stitching us up, that's for sure.
And he really knows who he should really direct that to is I will now make Rowan happy and say the international manager of the AP program.
Yep.
And get his response.
Yeah, and we have to remember that we have hundreds of MMRs in Australia. So there's people there that have done it, and all the helps are available, and the standards are all online. So it's quite easy to do. You just got to sit down and actually do the paperwork.
That's correct.
This is for Lego.
And Lego as well, yeah.
This is correct. Brad and I every now and again join Gordy on the English group, and we always remind them about how many MMRs we've got in Australia and how many they don't in the UK. So it's a bit like the Battle of the Ashes.
So yeah, definitely. While everybody wants to throw that through, if we're able to get a few MMRs with some Lego stuff, I'm all on board. So yeah.
I think you'll find there's already been a ruling been made on Lego.
We actually saw a couple of guys on the Lego show who were into trains big time. There's a guy that's always making trains on the show in the last few weeks. So yeah, the guy's out there doing it.
Righto. If any of you's got anything else to add, now's the time. Yeah, no?
Yeah, I agree with Chris, mate. The AP program's a significant value add for the NMRA. You don't get that anywhere else. The reward that the individual gets for receiving a certificate for effort, from my personal experience, is unreal. When I got my awards, I've got 3 or 4 certificates. I didn't think much of it until it was handed to me, and I looked at it and I go, holy hell, I've actually got something that recognises a skill. So
yep.
We probably haven't spoken about that enough tonight, but the reality is the AP program is a significant value add to the NMRA.
Yeah, we've got a panel coming up later on in the convention, so I dare say we'll cover that pretty well. But
excellent.
And I was going to say that the hobby's changed completely in the last 20 years. It's so electronically challenging now that it wasn't. 20 years ago, you're great. You're happy if you train round in a circle. But now they've got to make the right sound and the right whistles, and it's completely different hobby as it was. And LCC down is the next step after DCC. Things have changed completely, and it's really good for the young people to get involved with it now.
Okay. Anyone else want to add
anything? Just for us oldies.
Merv?
Yeah, look, I just wanted to just get back to mainline again. Just my thoughts on that. I'd like to see mainline sort of be like an information arm to the website. We've got a large organisation between Australia and New Zealand, a highly mobile population. Be good to know what's going on in other regions, and as I see it now, I only know what's going on in my region. I don't necessarily know what's going on in other regions where there's meetings and shows and things like that people could go to. I'd like to see that, maybe that we can start channeling a bit of that information through Mainline, so that when people get it every couple of months, they can they've got a resource there. They know, okay, they pick up the Mainline and they can see what's in New South Wales, Victoria, or South Australia, and whatever, and maybe plan, okay, I wouldn't mind going to that show or whatever. So that's just a thought.
Okay. Peter?
And our newest division is in Tasmania. So if you're in Tasmania, look it up on the internet and see if you can give us some encouragement to the new Div Super down there.
Okay. Anyone else got anything before we wrap this up? No? Okay, well...
Just to thank you guys for hosting it.
Okay.
And the convention.
But no problems. Well, what I was actually going to say before that is, being a regional member, if anyone out there's got any concerns with how they're benefiting from their membership or what they could get from their membership, is I will vouch. Reach out to your division supers, reach out to any of these guys that are on the ARC. They're more than happy to help you or point you in the right direction. If they don't have an answer, they will find you a contact for someone that does have that answer. So these guys are out here to help us for our membership. So reach out to them, ask them questions, give them feedback. It's what they need to run this stuff. So, without anything else, if no one's got anything else to add, I'd like to thank you all.
Just going to say to them to make sure everyone hangs around, because we've got the big quiz coming up, which is a first that we've ever tried. So we'll see what happens. But hang around in the chat; that'll be happening. And thanks to all the participants of the ARC forum. I think we got a few questions answered there, or you did, Brad, anyway.
Well, I got a few questions answered. I hope it gives everyone the opportunity just to see how easy it is to talk to these guys, raise your issues, let them know what our concerns are, and that's the only way they can help build and benefit our membership here. So thanks, guys, for joining us, and I think we'll cut to the ads.
It's a pleasure.
See ya.
Yep.
Okay. Well, Martin, back again. End of the night. I'm kind of a little drained, but still thriving on adrenaline here. And I see that you've got a quiz show lined up for us, so this could be extremely fun. What are we in for?
Well, I thought we'd try something new. We don't have any prizes for this quiz, so there is no $1 million that you're going to win at the end of it. But we just wanted to give this a bit of a trial and see what we could get out of the chat. So the idea is the questions will come up, and then we'll see what response we get from the chat, and then we'll plonk the answer in. So and see who can get to the end and have the most correct. So
before we start, I've got two little things. Do I get to phone the friend? And
yeah, you can ring Gordy. These are all Australian questions, so it's going to be interesting to see if any of our international people are still online, what answers they're going to come up with. So
can I choose the friend? Because I don't know if Gordy's going to be the best option there.
Well, that's true, but I think Speed's gone to bed now.
Okay, fair enough. And like you said, something new. I'm sure Gordy's sitting on the sideline shaking his head right now going, these Australian guys are really up to no good with something new for us.
Yeah, he'll go, here we go now, I'm going to have to run a quiz and they're going to tell me the instructions 30 seconds before I go on.
Perfect.
He always has something to complain about, but then again, I'm not going to say anything.
I'm gonna loosen up. I'm gonna keep an eye on the chat. So everyone out there, jump on the chat, answer your question. We'll see what's going on, and we'll try to get a bit of interaction going on. So Martin, why don't you get us going?
We'll hit the button and see if the first question comes up.
And
there we go.
We're off you go.
Yes, it works. The technology works. So the first trains in Australia were used in coal mines in Newcastle in 1831. But where did the first passenger train run in 1854? So let's see if we get anything back on the chat as to an answer.
1854. Now, because this has got a slight delay in there, we will be having to just have a bit of a chat amongst ourselves, Martin, for a while until the chat catches up. But seriously, you could have picked some answers and questions that were going to be a lot easier for me. Like 1854, I wasn't even around. I wasn't even a twinkle in anyone's eye back then.
Well, I mean, I got grey hair, but I wasn't around in that time either. But, when you see the answer, I think you'll understand where the question came from. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. Oh, here we go. We got ones coming with Sydney to Parramatta.
Oh, interesting. Now, I think you might have gave everyone a bit of a hint. So if they don't hurry up and get their question in, I might have to drop a bit of a hint going here for this one. So, Sydney to Parramatta, hey? That's an interesting one. Wonder what the passengers would have been seeing on that little journey. Sydney to Parramatta. It would have been very different than it is now, wouldn't it?
It would be. It would be. And our poor friend from Sweden says no clue. So I'd expect that, he'd probably be hard-pressed to find something. Remember, there's always Google. You can still participate. Just put the question in Google.
You know how to offer that, do you, Martin? Well done.
I've been instructed by the best in Google. I've been directed. I know to use Google Mail and a couple of other mystical things that they have.
Interesting, right? Just before I drop a hint, I see our good friend Craig up in Queensland has just put Adelaide in, which kind of doesn't really lead too much. It says, where's the first passenger train run? Like, Craig, can you explain a bit more to us? Adelaide, did they just go from one end of the platform to the other, or?
Well, knowing Craig, he probably thinks they had a circular track in Adelaide. It just went round and round, and yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So,
well, why don't we give them all a bit of a hint? Because I think you subtly dropped it before, and I know you're a VR modeler, so I wonder if that gives anyone any clues of where this answer could be leaded to.
This was a bit before VR, but it's pertinent, and we'll see if we get anyone in there. So you watching the Facebook feed, obviously?
Yeah, I've got Facebook here. I've got YouTube. I'm across the board just for
Okay,
you.
because for some reason, the Facebook gods have not been kind to me today, and my comments just keep dropping out every 5 minutes. So.
Ah, yes, there's our first real answer that I was expecting. The first passenger train, this is my answer as well, I reckon I'd have to answer this, is the first passenger train ran on the rails. How correct would that be, Martin?
Well, that's true. That's very true. Again, that's come from our international viewer there. So, and
Okay, look, Martin, put us out of misery, because this question's way too far behind me.
and if we're going to get through the questions I've put aside, we could still be doing this at midnight. So, I'll hit the go button, and we should have an answer.
Oh, how convenient.
So, like I said, being a VR modeller, it was from Melbourne to Port Melbourne, or as it was known in those days, Hobson's Bay, which was the first passenger train. Okay, let's give it another go.
Let's get on to the next question. I see Laurie McLean's actually dropped into the chat there on YouTube.
Oh, well, here we go. Oh, he's what, Port Elliot, bro? No, sorry, no cigar there, Laurie. You're okay. My mouse moved too quick on that one.
Oh, we gave that one away.
And we gave that one away. So we'll move on to the next question. This will get through them quicker. Here we go. The narrow gauge people should get this one. So, one of the best known tourist sites in Victoria is a heritage railway located at Belgrave, east of Melbourne. There's over 20 kilometres of track and several restored train engines and carriages. What's the name of the attraction? So we'll wait for the chat to catch up again.
Name of the attraction? Jeez.
Yeah, so what's the name of this railway?
I'll tell you what, Martin, before we give it away too much, but I know you're a Victorian man from down that way, and I dare say me and you may venture down to a show or two in the coming years. I'm going to hold you to take me on a trip on this 20 kilometres of track and explain it all to me. I'm sure you're a wealth of knowledge.
Oh yes, I grew up in this area, so I know a few little spots, and I know a couple of people that have got a nice layout actually halfway there. And anyway, so how do we go? Oh, I don't know what.
And then the chat is off and running.
Yeah, chat's off and racing on YouTube, and they've all got it correct. It is in fact Puffing Billy. So
interesting.
Let's move on to question 4. See if I can control the mouse this time so it doesn't. There we go. Okay. So here's something now for a few others, but interstate rivalry between New South Wales and Victoria created all sorts of problems over Australian history, and one involved rail travel. Why did passengers have to change trains at the border city of Albury? Okay.
Have to change trains? That's
so they had to change trains at Albury.
Let me guess. Had to change trains. Gee, it wouldn't be anything to do with like state of origin or anything like bad taste. I don't know,
it's Victoria, so they don't kind of play rugby league down there, so it wouldn't be anything state of origin. Although they're starting to turn around down there. I see. Duncan's put a comment in there. He reckons I never grew up. Well, he's probably right there, you know.
I'll support Duncan 100%. I've known you for a while, and I think you're a kid at heart.
I think we've got a winner in. Well, we've got the correct answer there in YouTube,
and we've got one over in Facebook. Our mate Craig actually has got one right. It's the breaker gauge.
It's correct, and that's what Eric has here. New South Wales standard gauge, Victoria broad gauge. So, everybody had to get off one train and get onto another. And I believe that used to happen at 1 o'clock in the morning. which would be really nice on a winter's day. I mean,
could you imagine being down there tonight and getting off a train?
Well, exactly. So, okay, let's move on to the next one. And we have the Trans-Australia Railway joins the west of the country to the eastern states and crosses the remote Nullarbor Plain. The line holds a world record that is unlikely to be beaten. What is it? Now we'll let the chat take off again. And
crossing the remote Nullarbor Plain. Jeez.
Yes, the Nullarbor Plain. That should give it away, I think. But
well, what? It could be anything. Like, it could be the amount of camels that they pass, the amount of camels that they pick up, maybe.
It could be. It could be the number of broken down cars they see as they drive across. I mean, who knows? I mean, it could be a multitude of things.
It's a very long distance down there, so it could be anything. It could be a speed record. You never know what National Rail could be getting up to for world records, I guess.
Exactly. So it's a world record, and it's unlikely to be beaten. I think that's a bit of a clue in itself about what could be there. Oh, look out! Someone in YouTube, Eric's got a correct answer there again. He's pretty quick off the mark, Eric.
Yeah, and I see Craig's got a very optimistic answer. He's got the longest straight section of track in the universe.
In the universe?
I can't really comment on that. I'm not really up with any of that alien activity or anything.
No, well, I didn't know you could catch a train from Roma Street to Alpha Centauri, but, obviously you can. But Eric's got the longest straight track, and Chris jumped in with the longest straight bit of track. So I think everybody's found the answer, and of course it is the longest straight stretch of track.
Right, just before we get going on to the next question too far, is if you want to get involved, this is actually quite fun, something new. Don't forget, jump in and throw all your answers in this chat, and we'll try to get as many of them read out as we go.
Okay, so question 6. Let's have a look what we've got. Okay, so for those, this will probably help if some people have travelled on the Indian Pacific, but the question is, which of these the stops made by the Indian Pacific is virtually a ghost town? So which stop that they go to is virtually a ghost town with only a handful of residents and a store that only opens when the train is actually in town? So when the Indian Pacific goes across the country, apparently it pulls into one town which their shops only open because the train's there. And
it'd be really interesting to know if that town's got a pub. Towns like that always normally have a pub, don't they?
Well, I don't know, but I always thought all Australian towns had a pub.
Not all. So, come on, Martin, you've got to be able to give us another little hint. Like, maybe give me a state that this is in, or a territory that it's in.
I believe. Look, I'll give you a state. I believe it's in Western Australia. Oh, hey, we've got some answers come flying in. Laurie McLean's in there, and he's also correcting me on the Flinders Street to Sandgate line was the first steam rail in Australia. Okay.
I knew you couldn't get all these right, Martin.
I knew this would start.
You had Google to help. I couldn't believe
I had Google. I worked the Googly machine, and it still must have come out wrong. Anyway, sorry about that, Laurie.
Okay.
But anyway, we've got a whole bunch in there. And have you got a correct answer on your end?
Of course, and I think Craig's got this Google machine rigged, so I might have to make a phone call to Google at the moment because he's in here pretty quick.
Oh, well, you may have known this one. You never know. He's a bit of a dark horse. So yes, Cook, and it says Peter Maguire's put in there. There's no pub, one inhabitant on site, I believe.
No pub. Why stop? Keep the train going. Keep the train going.
Well, I think the train is the pub when it stops.
Okay. That's fair enough then. I'd be right.
Okay.
Next question.
Head into question 7, and we'll see how we go here. And okay, so here's one for our Queensland people. In most cities, Central Station is the hub of train operations. In Brisbane, it's not. Which station is the departure point for long-distance trains? So in Brisbane, Central Station is not where the long distance trains depart from. Which station do they depart from? Now, I know Craig is going to jump in here in 2 seconds, so I reckon we disregard his answer. He'll probably put a smart aleck answer in anyway.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to take any of Craig's answers because I think he's a little one-sided at the moment. So maybe I'll just hold off before I read any of them.
Oh, and Laurie tells me apparently I now owe him a cigar. So.
Okay, so I've got a question or an answer in here, and of course it's from Craig. But I'll let you. Any on YouTube there that's got the correct answer?
We've got Robert Perrins jumped in here, Eric's in here, Duncan. They've all got the correct answer, and it is Roma Street. So Roma Street in Brisbane is the station where all the long distance trains depart from. There you go. Now, let's go on to question 8. And I believe this may be a Sydney-based question. I'm not quite sure. Let's see what happens. Here we go. How many lines make up the Sydney Suburban City Trains network? So here we go. The Queenslanders are all going to go quiet now, and it'll probably be someone from New South Wales, I reckon, will jump in there. And we'll wait for the chat to catch up. What do you think, Brad? How many lines? I reckon they've got 12.
Well, I'm going to throw it up, and if you're going to say 12, I know you're not going to be too far off the number, but I'm going to go with 17. I wouldn't have 17. A clue, but I'm going to choose 17.
17? That's a lot of lines in their city network, yeah.
Well, it's Sydney. It's one of the biggest cities. You just never know. Every time I seem to go there, there's trains going left, right, and centre. Well,
every time I seem to go there, I get lost. So, hang on, we've got some answers popping in here.
This one's really going to be fun. I see the answers are quite different.
They are. This is going to be quite contentious because the person who's actually got the correct answer is in Sweden, and it's our international friend that's over here in YouTube who's in from Sweden, and it is 8. So he must be working the googly machine because I don't think someone from Sweden would be catching many Sydney suburban city trains.
Okay, interesting. 8. Oh, I was a long way off, wasn't I? That's how much I know about my capital city that I don't even know how many trains. I don't think I've caught a train in Sydney, to tell you the truth. I'm more of an Uber man.
More of an Uber. Well, I got it completely wrong, and I actually put this quiz together. So, how do we get that one? Anyway, let's move on to question 9 and see what we've got. Okay, are we ready? City Rail and the Sydney Rail network are run by the state government. True or false?
City Rail and Sydney Rail.
Yeah, so are they're run by the state government, true or false?
Well, I'm going to go out on a bit of a limb here, and as with most state government stuff, hope no one shoots me down here, this is just my opinion, but they've probably sold it off already, so I'm going to say it's a false.
You're going to say it's false, okay.
So, I wonder what the answer is. There's a couple, I see Craig's already put an answer in Facebook. I'm not sure what's out there on YouTube yet.
And our friend in Sweden said no, he didn't look up the googly machine. He actually made a guess.
Oh, okay. Well, these questions are getting pretty hard. I reckon next question I might have to use my phone a friend.
And he's saying false for that, but Eric has got the correct answer. And it is true. Now you watch, I've probably got this wrong, and 100 people are going to jump down now and tell me I've got it wrong.
Okay. All right, I'm enjoying myself. So let's keep it rolling. I really like this. This is something different for me.
We've got our last question coming up, so big drum roll, and here we go.
Woohoo. Approximately
how big is the Sydney City Rail network in kilometres?
Oh, in kilometres.
Yep.
I'm gonna. This is our last question for the night. I'm I'm going to have to phone a friend, if you don't mind, Martin.
No, you can phone a friend.
I really need some help here. I've got this really great mate over in the UK. He's very knowledgeable. He sits up, like me and you, ungodly hours. And he watches a lot of railway stuff. So, Andy, are you around to help me out, hopefully, on this question? Let's see if I can get onto Andy.
Yeah,
Andy,
I
how you
think
going?
so.
Do you reckon you could help me out on this question?
So you're ringing
Yes.
someone in the south of London to find a question about the Sydney City Rail Network.
Well, before we go any
Yes.
further, I do have a little
Well-
bit of a side on this. You're a Welshman, so I figured I might go over that way and see if I can get a bit of insider trading for how your mind might work there. So Andy, can you tell
Yes.
me, do you reckon you could tell me how many kilometres of rail network are in the Sydney city?
It would have to be a guess, but I would say 813.43 kilometres.
Okay. Right, Martin, I hope you wrote that down because you got very technical, and I'm going to lock that in because I've got trust in me, mate Andy.
You're going to lock that in? Okay, well, we'll put that in, but yeah, okay.
So
I haven't seen the correct number roll up in the chat yet.
Oh, so
What
that
have you
means
got?
that I could be still right.
Yeah, well, you could be. So, have you seen anything in Facebook?
Look, me mate Craig's put one in there, but I'm going to change his numbers around a bit, and I think I can't make it out if it's a 468 or if it's an 864 kilometres. So look, he may be right, he may not be right. I'm not sure.
Oh well.
How about we give it another couple of minutes and we'll see.
Yeah,
So,
Rowan's getting close to it, so he's in the YouTube chat here, Rowan, and it's probably just about as many kilometres on Rowan's layout as well, because Rowan's got one of these layouts that you put a train on and it could take 3 hours before it comes back again.
yeah, okay.
Oh, he's dropped down. No, Rowan, you're going the wrong way. You're going the wrong way.
Wrong way.
Okay. It's not
so,
lower.
So can I revisit me phone a friend and see if we can work it out amongst us?
You can try and negotiate, yes. And,
Yeah,
and
okay.
see.
So some insider trading here, Andy. Let's pick a number that's over 1,500 kilometres. What do you reckon?
Why would we pick a number that's over 1,500 kilometres?
Well, because I can see the chat. So I reckon we go with closer to 1,800, 1,833. How do you reckon that sounds?
Are you asking me?
No, not you.
Oh, okay.
Andy's the wealth of knowledge here.
Yep.
Well, I actually worked it out by a careful calculation of the station lines ratio to get my 813 kilometres.
Huh. So you're saying that Martin's answer's wrong?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I'll roll with that. I'm sticking with my original answer, Martin.
You're sticking with your original answer? Okay, I don't see any more coming in here. It's 1:16:25. Eric's getting up there closer. No, Peter, you're way down on 813. So shall we hit the answer?
Yeah, put us out of our misery. Give us the answer.
Okay. 2,060 kilometres in the network.
Interesting.
That's completely different from what my mate Google said.
Well, I wouldn't believe your mate Google.
Well,
interesting.
there you go.
I'm going to have to go back and find that, and I'll let everyone know tomorrow how incorrect Martin was definitely on his answers,
Yep,
I reckon.
and so everybody can come and play Martin's inaccurate quiz.
Look, how did you all like the quiz show? This is something different for us. We haven't done this before. We're really keen to see your feedback. Andy, what did you think of the quiz show? I see you were sitting in there for the whole lot.
I thought it was brilliant. I really did. I liked it. I didn't get any of the answers apart from the last one, of course, because Martin's wrong. But there you go.
Well, tomorrow night we're going to give it another bash. We're going to give it another go, but this time with international named trains. So it's all going to be about named trains. So
Okay, interesting.
Right.
Righto. Well, thanks, Andy, for being my phone a friend this time around. Look, not to put you off or anything, but sorry, I mightn't give you a call tomorrow night. I might have to find someone else if you don't mind.
What, you mean you will find someone that actually knows some of the answers?
Well, maybe. I'm going to have to see if I can get into Martin's NAS storage and get the quiz for tomorrow night. Maybe I can Google it while he's asleep.
Okay.
Thanks, Andy.
I'll drop out. Bye for now.
Well, Martin, that was quite a lot of fun, to tell you the truth. I enjoyed it. I hope you did.
Bit different, wasn't it? Yeah. Well, I did a quick couple of search to get a few questions together. So some of them may be a little bit dubious, but anyway, it was a bit of entertainment. Everyone seemed to have a good laugh. So I think it's just about time now to wrap this show up and for us to recharge the electrons and get ready for tomorrow. We've got a big day coming up tomorrow.
Yeah, so definitely agree. It's been a great day. I've enjoyed myself. I think we've had quite a lot of good clinics so far, and anyone that has friends or family or anything like that that thinks that this could be of an interest, share the links. Share the YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe to that so you can be notified as soon as we go live tomorrow. But you're right, we've got a full day tomorrow. We've actually got an extra clinic in than today. And there's a bit for everyone. There's a bit of technology, a bit of history. And also we've got a great panel show for remote ops. What else do we have going on tomorrow, Martin?
Well, we're starting the day off, which I'm really looking forward to, with a ops session from the Onondaga Cutoff in New Jersey with Dave Aberles. And he's going to give us a bit of a layout tour. We're going to actually witness an operation, a remote operating session in progress. And he's also going to give us some information on signaling and interlocking. And then obviously,
That'd be cool. This wouldn't be the same layout that I believe that you may have crashed a train on. So the signaling thing might be helpful.
People say I crashed a train from the other side of the world, but, you know, it didn't actually happen like that. So, you know, don't believe all what you read on the internet.
Well, I might have to put that down as a question to ask Dave firsthand what actually happened there.
No, not a problem. Well, I don't know about you, but I think it's time to maybe run some ads, and we'll say goodnight to everybody out there. And our friend in Sweden will be back on again tomorrow morning. So get up early or stay up late, and we'll catch you then.
Righto. Thanks, guys.
See ya.